Because if you notice, blades, their performance depends on who made it. Because if the maker is good, he knows how to make the blade perform.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 11 of Filipino Martial Arts Mastermind. As usual, we have Sixto and Baste. Say hello, Sixto and Baste.
Hello, Sixto and Baste.
The brothers, Carlos Hermanos, ang ating mga boss. And today we have a special guest. He is the founder and owner of, he is a security consultant both here and abroad. And he is also a known prepper. And unbeknownst to most, he is also a licensed anesthesiologist. So please welcome our guest for today, Dr. Arvin Sese. Hello, Dr. Arvin. Kamusta?
Hi, guys. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor.
So Arvin,
it's an honor to be here.
Well, we're glad that you're here. So tell us something about yourself, Dr. Arvin.
Well, I started first in the outdoor scene. I love to climb mountains, go outdoors camping, and I attended one of the survival trainings in Manila. There's a group. We had a group there. We did some survival training. It lasted 2 weeks. We stayed in camp 2 weeks kami. And unfortunately, well, actually, I love to do that. And then unfortunately, ang nangyari was, while practicing rappelling, na-aksidente ako, nalaglag ako. Nabalian ako. And then, that's actually how I met Sixto. Kasi college kami sa UPLB, I needed therapy for my hand.
1994, yeah.
Yeah, 1994. Actually, that's 4 years after the fact kasi nabalian ako 1989, actually 89 eh.
Okay.
1990 ako nabalian eh. So, for therapy dun sa broken wrist ko, I broke, actually 2 of my wrists I broke. Nalaglag ako sa
Nice.
semento eh.
Smart.
Well, that's part of learning, di ba? Ang maganda doon, I never stopped.
Tama.
Oh, yeah. Persistence.
I didn't stop.
Persistence. Okay. That's
Diba? I still did it afterwards. Eh. Yun ang difference. Yun nga lang well, I had a lot more accidents after that. But at this time here, I survived.
Never cracked your head or...
I don't know. But yung advantage nga nung martial art, that saved me. Kasi syempre, pag laglag mo sa semento, hindi tumama yung ulo ko. Kasi parang break fall.
Right.
But again, Arvin, from the way I know you, okay, the way I know you, martial arts is actually not your main thing, diba? It's actually part of a whole. You mentioned you're into survival, into prepping, diba?
Yeah.
I think martial arts is only just one aspect.
It's just one aspect of what I do. Because what I really love doing is spending time in the outdoors and learning survival skills. In fact,
which includes
jungle survival, going to the jungle, learning what the ETAs do. I have a lot of ETA friends, and every time we go there, we spend 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Because 2 days is not enough. I spend 3 days there learning what the plants are edible, how to make traps, how to make fire. I mean, I'm not that good, but at least I'm better than most.
You're
because
familiar.
I actually did it. Yeah, I did it. I actually took the risk, went out there.
What about firearms? You're also trained with that, right?
I also know how to use firearms. That's one of the skill sets that you need, not only as a prepper, but as a prepared individual. Also for security.
Okay, so prepping is not the whole thing either. It's only one aspect also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I was little, your idols were like Rambo, Arnold. Those are your idols, and not like now. I mean, most of your idols are what? Vice Ganda.
Yeah. Si Rambo yun yung paborito ng mga tito ko dati. So,
si Palito yun, si Rambo to.
Rambo to.
So when did you start? When did you start dabbling in the blade arts? Like your pursuit of making
Actually, I have to
blades.
thank Sixto for that. You know, we met in 1994. We met a lot of masters. We studied under a lot of different arts. And that master was saying, you know, sticks are transition for blades. And then I tried using real blades, but I still have scars. You know, I cut my ear. I have lots of cuts on my body from training.
I remember
So,
when we sparred, you hit my wrist. Yeah, diba? And we were not wearing any hand protection. Eh? And we were
yeah.
using real sticks, yeah. And that
Yeah,
hurt,
yeah.
yeah. I just didn't tell you that time.
And yet, apart from all of this, you're still a licensed anesthesiologist.
Oh,
I find that the most incredible part, you know. And a lot of people don't know that about you. People don't know that about you.
They think I'm just a regular doctor, but you know, they don't know that
So,
I have a subspecialty, anesthesiology.
you're actually smart, huh? Okay.
A lot of
I don't
people
know.
don't know that about you.
Pero
I'm
that's a
just
good thing.
persistent. I don't think it's smart. I think you're just persistent. You don't give up. Because that's one of the things I learned in the martial arts. Just don't give up. It's like
Which is, yeah.
one time I brought Sixto to military camp, and then what Sixto would do, Sixto is a bit crazy, he would demonstrate, you and you. He's pointing to the soldier and then me. You spar. What the hell? And he won't tell you. Yeah, he used to do that, So you have to be
Good
ready
times.
all the time.
Good
If you're the
times.
type, who has a lot of excuses, you can't be with Sixto at that time because you have to prepare yourself differently. I remember you and you spar. Okay. I mean,
But
for me, it doesn't matter if I lose or win. Just do what you know. That's how it is.
but you
And
know,
if
Okay,
you're confident in what you know, you'll win.
a bit of a background there, Bax. No, what we do, what Arvin, what we used to do with the military was we used to teach them combatives, right? Hand-to-hand
Yeah, combative.
combatives, bladed combatives, impact weapon combatives. That's a bit of a background. We used to do that with a lot of the army units.
but you
Not
know,
only army, also navy.
yeah. No, but then
Navy,
unlike most of us who train, like I know a lot of you guys you train the military, but what made you actually decide to make your own knives and make your own bladed implements? Because there are a lot of knives and blades out there. What made you, decide to finally make your own?
I'll
How
show
did that
you.
come about?
Okay. This was the original blade that I had trouble looking for. This is known as the Sinampalok. It's the jungle survival blade of the ATAS. Now, me and Sixto, we attended the jungle survival school in Subic
yeah.
together. Although it was the tourist version, like maybe an hour of demonstration. They'll show you how to get water. They'll show you how to make fire. I bought that blade there, and that was 2007, I think. Was that
Yeah.
2007? Anyway, that time I could not find the maker of that blade. And when I transferred here to the province, I looked around everywhere, trying to have that blade made. Because if you notice, blades, their performance depends on who made it. Because
Correct.
if the maker is
Yeah.
good, he knows how to make the blade perform. The angle of the grind of the blade, of the edge, the temper. And I finally found the maker of that blade. Dito pala siya sa Pangasinan. So he lives here in Pangasinan, and I had him make a lot of blades. And from there, it just branched out. You can make blades. Oh, can you make this? Can you make that? Can you make this? And then it branched out. And then I tested them in the jungle. So I know what works, what doesn't work. And so basically, most of my designs are just what the smith made before, and then I just refined them. So he would show me, oh, I made this. For instance, see, I made this, and I'll have him refine this design. So make it
Okay.
make a point here, make sharp here,
Can
and
I
then
see the whole thing? Can I see how long that is? The handle and everything. Oh wow.
About how many inches? How many inches is the
I
handle?
think this is from here to here. It's 14 inches, I think.
Is that for sale?
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah, it's for sale. Yeah, the other thing is, you see, it is very hard for him to make this because he has to get the special steel.
I see.
Oh, one of the things people don't know is you need to get good steel to make these blades. Like the steel of this one is wider than the normal steel.
Okay.
So
Okay. Basta,
how did you
okay.
transition from blade collecting to eventually selling?
Actually, I had a lot of blades made, and then I just posted them on the internet, and then people started ordering them. And then it started that way. They just started ordering them, and then they were saying, "Oh, it's a good design. It cuts well, has a nice temper." Because my aim is for users. It's not for because the way I started blades was I used to make like collector type blades that look really
Okay.
nice, like
Oh,
the
okay.
blades you have before. See that they're all very polished. They're all very. But now I prefer blades that yeah, like that. See, polished, well made. That's a nice wood. That's a very rare hardwood. So I prefer user blades that you can actually use. They don't look polished, yeah, but at least they're usable.
So how
Functional.
did you
Yeah, functional.
how how did it eventually evolve to Sese blades? And also now that you have Sese blades, so I'm segueing now to what are your brand hallmarks as well. So how did you eventually develop into your company or even the brand name? And also, what are your brand hallmarks? What makes a Sese blade a Sese blade? You know?
Actually, the transition, I didn't call it Sese Blades before. It was a different name.
It was
However,
my
all the
idea.
buyers called it Sese Blades. So I said, what the heck? Everybody's calling it that. Why not just call it that, right? So that's how it got known. It was branded that way. So I may as well use the name, Sese Blades.
It's
So what?
organic, yeah.
So what's your brand hallmark? So if somebody would like,
If you look
like
here, I don't know if you
would
can
want to
see
get
it closer, but there's a stamp here, SE. I don't know if you guys can see,
Okay.
but there's a stamp there on the blade,
Yeah.
SE.
Yeah.
That's the Sese Blade stamp.
But
No, no.
what makes your
Yeah,
what makes
you
your
mentioned.
blade unique? What makes your blades unique or different or special?
Well,
What makes it a Sese blade? That's what I was trying to ask you with the brand hallmarks. What makes
okay.
a blade a Sese blade?
Well, number one, I only use good steel. When I say good steel, it means old leaf spring steel or old files, because the heart of the knife is your steel. If you don't use good steel, it doesn't temper well. It doesn't get hard well. And then one thing you will notice is there's the taper. Since it's forged, this is forged. It's thick here and then it's thin. Can you see it? It's thick here and then it's thin here. So it gives you more balance. So that's one of the
Okay.
hallmarks. So it's thick here and it's thin here. And if you ask a lot of
Are
the bladesmiths, they have a hard time doing that, making the taper. But it's easy to do if you forge it, because you just pound more here on this side and then it gets thinner. That's why there's a liveliness to it. It's not as heavy as a lot of the other blades that have the same thickness.
Mm-hmm.
And
eh,
also the temper, it's differentially tempered, meaning it's harder on the edge than on the back. So if
Right.
you test it on the center, it's soft because the temper is hardest on the edge. Unfortunately, we don't suggest testing on the edge because that might break the edge. You know how they test the sharpness? They have a tool that they hit on the part that you want to test, and they'll show you what kind of hardness it is. So this is edge tempered. It's edge hardened, like a samurai sword, something like that.
Are they all full tang?
Oh yeah,
Is
they're
that
also all full tang. Yeah, they're all full
all
tang.
Sese blades are full tang, right?
Yeah, that's the only non-traditional thing about it. Because yeah, they're all full tang.
Explain to people out there who don't know what full tang is. What is full tang?
When you say full tang, it means let's say if this is your blade, normally they have a stick, a stick part of the metal that they burn into the handle of your blade. On my blades here, the thickness of the metal is the same thickness as the handle. So this is how thick the metal is uh, compared to the handle. So you have the scales. So what the advantage of this is it's a little heavier, but it's tougher. And if you break the handle, you just wrap it with cord, and then you can still use the blade. Very tough, and actually very rare because not
Yeah.
a lot of smiths know how to make full tanks.
Can I tell you a story about full tang and rat-tailed? The reason I like your blades, most of my trainers are Sese blades. Di ba? I order a lot from you because I had this experience from when I was training with machete. Okay, I was hitting a tire. I hit it full swing. It broke. Slowly, it flew on my face. Luckily, I was not injured, but after that experience, I think I told you about it. After that experience, you educated me on full tang, rat tailed, and you told me that it's better if you get a full tang blade all the time. So ever since, I always ask for that. So guys, for the guys listening here, it's better to get a full tang. It's a lot safer.
And I have a narrow tang. A lot of you were having asking me to have this made, but I can't because the smith's not familiar with it. This is one of those fancy bars. It's narrow tang.
So, so Arvin, what about materials? Like how different, you know, like from a price point. What is your product positioning? Who's your typical customer? Like what kind of person would buy a Sese blade? You know, how different are they collectors, end users, martial artists, or visualists? Any price point looking
Well,
for in terms of, you know, like product?
generally speaking, I position myself for preppers because they're looking for relatively cheap user blades. Now I'll give you a little story. One contact of mine, a prepper, he bought one of these branded blades. It cost 75,000 just one blade. Imagine that's all my blades already together. And if you have like 10 people in your group, each of them are gonna spend 75,000. Come on, I mean you can just buy food or ammo or more gear with that amount. So I don't think it's practical to spend that much just for a blade because you can just well actually they've proven very tough because some of these blades I've bent 90 degrees and then straightened them and they still work. That's the advantage of the temper, of the differential temper.
So essentially, you're a low price point, high quality, low price point.
Well, like I
Uh,
said, relatively low price.
okay. So
Relative. I mean,
essentially,
it's lower than most. Yeah, but it's not. It's higher than the local producers
and
because I have to research and development. I have to buy the raw materials. I mean, I only use horn for my handles. I mean, this is
It's
Carabao horn because they
Carabao
say the
horn. Okay.
Carabao, yeah, because they say Carabao horn can
Okay.
they're relatively eco-friendly
yeah eco-friendly and that's
versus
traditional.
poly products,
Yeah,
right?
those
Because
are very slippery. Yeah, those are
they're
very slippery.
biodegradable.
They're very
Yeah.
slippery. because sometimes they use
versus rubber.
PVC. Rubber I don't like using because it's very soft. It easily detaches from the handle.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Yeah,
tried. I did a lot of research and development. That's what most people don't know.
yeah,
I
and I
tried
think
everything.
like I said, like with the whole like eco-friendly marketing that's going on with a lot of products and with all the awareness that people are trying to get, I think that's where you have an edge because like your products are not like mass produced with all these synthetic relatively more synthetic materials. I mean, like you mentioned, Carabao horn. I guess it's something that you could leave in a landfill and can disintegrate probably in relatively faster years than a typical
Yeah,
expensive
PVC.
collector's
Yeah,
grade.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then Arvin, it's a well-known fact that your reach is not just local. You have a lot of international clients. How did that come to be? I mean, like, you're not exactly the biggest manufacturer of knives.
No, no,
How
no.
did people find out about you?
I guess I had the right friends because what I did was um, I made friends with a lot of Cebuanos, and those Cebuanos are very serious outdoor guys. I mean, serious. I've been on outdoor hikes with them in Cebu. They're very serious. I mean, they only carry a blade, and then they go out hiking. They find water there, get water there, they cook there using whatever they can find. They're very serious outdoors guys. And then these guys promoted it because they also have outdoor friends from other countries.
Hmm,
And because the problem was I could send before internationally,
hmm.
and then for some reason they banned it. That's why I couldn't send now anymore.
It's difficult,
So that's
huh?
how it. Yeah, it's difficult now. So what the foreigners do is they go in here. I send it to Cebu. They get it in Cebu, and then they bring
Ah.
it home.
So they fly in, get your wares,
Yeah, they fly in. They do whatever they want to do there.
then
Then
bring
they
it
fly home.
wherever.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah,
it's
yeah.
in. That's why when I see a lot of your posts, it's you have an international following. I would say in several continents already, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's because I know how to talk also to the foreigners. Most people don't know how to speak to
Mm,
them.
Is
I
there
mean, I just
preference?
consider they're just like us.
Is there preference, like, when you have these clients? Is there like a certain type of blade that they want? Like, that you see, parang there's a tendency, that they prefer the short blades, the long blades. Is there like,
Well, that
or
depends on what their personality is because a lot of the friends that I have who get it internationally, they're users, they're not
right,
collectors.
right.
So they prefer blades that you can actually use. I mean, kitchen, use in the kitchen because they appreciate that the hand forged blade is not cheap in their country.
Mm.
Over here, it's relatively cheap still, so you can get it at a good price. But over there, it's very expensive. And then when
So
I
in terms
learned,
of
obviously, me and Sixto have been longtime friends.
Now, okay, my question is, can you just think how many blades have you actually produced? Hundreds, thousands?
Maybe 1,000, and maybe 1,000.
That's a lot. And most are what? Machetes, short knives,
Short
hawk,
blades,
short
short
blades.
blades.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so okay, so that's more or less your specialty. But
because
I see you're also trying to design the one you showed earlier. You're going into axes and tomahawks.
yeah, yeah, I am because as you know, I actually use my blades. I go
Okay.
to the jungle and actually use them. And sometimes a bolo can't cut a tree down
Yeah.
because we had the times when we needed to cut trees down, actual trees, because
Mm.
there's no firewood. So we have to cut trees down. That's why I ventured into the axe.
Yeah, which was, remember, we had a podcast with Marco Novakovic, and that was what he said. No, the difference between carrying a machete and an axe, like a tomahawk, no? Kasi he said that machetes will not be able to cut the harder trees, no?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You also, apart from that, you also teach courses on survival, di ba? Like outdoor survival.
Yeah, I do from time to time, but I'm not a marketer. I just do it as a hobby.
Right, right.
Mm.
So even if I break even, it's fine with me. In fact, you guys should go. You know, we should just us. You know, spend
Yeah, we'll do it.
overnight or.
Yeah, we'll do it
I
one of
mean,
these days for sure. Yeah.
you know why I was doing this is because of Sixto.
Oh, talaga?
You know,
I never knew that.
oh Sixto. You know, when we were talking in Zambales, Sixto wanted to do the overnight class, jungle survival.
Yeah.
So, hindi tayo natuloy nun eh. Di ba dahil
Yeah,
niloko
yeah.
tayo nung ano?
They were cheating on that.
Yeah. They wanted more money, whatever,
More money,
something like that.
We agreed on an
So,
amount. And
yeah. Pero ako, natuloy ko. So, now I know how they can, now I know how we can do that.
Okay.
And ako naman, mas maganda if yung mga lessons na yun, we share with each other. Kasi lalo na sa mga panahon ngayon, you can't tell eh.
Yeah,
I mean, emergency, bigla na lang dumadating eh.
Yeah,
So yes, ikaw ang nag-ano nun. Si Sixto talaga ang nag-ano nun.
the reason I asked about it is because we have friends who actually joined that the few times that you taught it, and they really swear by it. So I would really love to see you really develop it, no? Because it seems that you have a knack for the outdoors, and it's knowledge that's worth sharing, no?
Actually, the advantage also is that I made friends with the instructors, the ETAs. They actually know me in their community.
Okay.
If you go there to their community, they know my name. Because I did a free clinic for them one time. You know, where we donated medicines, and we actually had doctors come in and check them out. That's why I'm famous in their village.
That's good. So Arvin, like going back to your knives, what's your best seller and what's hot right now?
Right now?
Or
Well,
what's
right
been your
now-
best seller? Well, since you started, what's your best seller, and right now, what are the trends going to, in terms of like people asking
Well,
you?
my
what you have or what you do.
bestseller, but unfortunately I don't have any more now, is this. This is the Sinampalok. This is the jungle survival blade of the ETAs. It looks like a kukri, and it actually can be used for fighting as well.
How long is the blade of that?
This is 13 inches.
The blade, just the blade, no?
Yeah, the blade is just 13 inches. Now what I did was, I had a smaller version made. This is the smaller version. It's about, I gave 6 to 1 of these to test out. It's about, I think, 11 inches or 10 inches blade.
Yeah.
Shorter. So because sometimes the problem with a lot of blades is they're too long. So I made it shorter so you can put it in your backpack, put it in your emergency kit. I have a lot of short ones. This one used to be hot, but I had a lot of complaints.
Why? What sort of complaints?
No, because there's this term called bushcraft.
Okay.
You know, where you use your blade to work on wood and make things.
Right.
They're saying, it's sharp here, it's sharp there, but this isn't designed for bushcraft. It's designed for survival. That's why. So if you want a bushcraft blade, you have to work on your blade a lot of times.
So there's a lot of specificity involved, like you said.
Because a lot of people think only one blade is good enough. That's not true. You have to have a lot of blades because each blade cuts differently. Like for heavy work, I use the axe. What I did was I improved it by adding like a spike. So it's a little sharper. That's why I like Marco's work. Because it dovetails exactly into what I do. I like axes. So there's a spike there, and then there's a spike here.
What's hot now? What's
hot now actually is the spike. So this is
Okay.
a spike. See, actually, the history of this is that the smith is a third generation smith. He knows how to make nails, so I had him make a nail, and then I wrapped some jute twine, and then added a ball bearing on the top, so you can, so it doesn't hurt if you plunge it into anything.
So that's the Sese spike.
Yeah, this one. There's a smaller version that I think Sixto likes more. This is a smaller version. Can you see it? I haven't wrapped the handle yet, but this is the smaller version. It's not as big as this.
So in terms of traditional blades, what do you have in your inventory?
Well, the most traditional blade that I have is this small utility knife. The handle is well, the handle is made out of steel, and then they wrapped around rattan. They just folded the handle over, so it's hollow, and then they wrap rattan around it. This is the most traditional one I have.
That's from where?
This is an Igorot design. The reason why they don't use carabao horn is because they display it. Because when they kill carabaos for their kanyao, they display it like, that one's for my daughter's wedding. That one is for when your uncle died. You know.
It's cultural.
That's what it's for. It's for
endemic,
culture. Yeah, cultural. That's why for them they use rattan on their blades.
What about your hinalongs?
I don't
I'm
have a
just trying to remember all
traditional.
the traditional weapons I've seen that you've produced before.
This one you mean? The hinalong is a double-edged, rattan wrapped blade. Now, what I noticed from the Igorot hinalong is it's short. Because my theory is if you have a long double-bladed weapon, it can bounce towards you and cut you.
Yeah.
Since the Igorots are relatively naked, they only have short double-edged blades. But they use this for everything from cutting meat to chopping wood.
Is it the fighting blade too?
Yeah, you can use this for fighting, yeah. Remember, the Igorots were the original headhunters.
Okay. And
But their axe is, I don't think their axe was really as bad as everyone thought because they use the axe as a utility tool. My theory is the long spike of the axe, they bury it in the ground and then they use the part of the axe sticking out. They use as a blade. Like in India, they use it like that. They use blades like that in India.
okay.
Because a lot of people they say a lot of things about the Igorot axe. I mean, it's not like that. I used to do a lot of research on axes, on weapons basically.
So one thing I heard, and it's proliferating here in the U.S., is that the pointy edge of the axe, it has two sides. So the cutting side was supposed to chop the head, and they use the pike to pick up the head. So
Yeah,
that's
maybe that happened, but I don't think that's the real design for it. Because remember, you don't fight every day.
Yeah.
You don't kill a person every day. So your everyday use for your axe, that's for me, that's my opinion only, is as a utility tool. Because remember, steel was very rare then.
Expensive.
So, yeah, and expensive.
Expensive, then.
So you would have to use your axe for your everyday life, not only just for killing enemies, but for cooking your food.
Apart from, of course, of the obvious Filipino inspiration to your blades, what other countries contribute to your designs, no? For the most part? Is there like a
Well,
particular inspiration from other places?
actually, Libre has a heavy influence on my blades.
Which one? I'm
A
sorry.
lot of Libre.
Libre knife
Yeah,
fighting.
Libre has a lot. Yeah, it has a lot of inspiration on my short blades.
Mm. Like
That's
how?
why, since
What?
since
How?
I Well, you know why Lee Morrison, Lee Morrison taught us how to use this, right?
Right.
Wait,
So
let me
they're
get this.
tailor made for libre and combatives techniques, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. What I do basically is to make one blade pretty much blend into everything. Like you can use the Libre blade as a fighter or as a survival knife. Because my opinion is, if you have a blade only for fighting, pwede kang ano sa police nun eh. You can be charged by the police eh. It's like karambits. I mean, you can't use them for chopping tomatoes.
Right,
So
right,
the
right.
moment you have a kerambit, it means you
Yeah,
plan
yeah,
to
yeah,
fight
yeah.
already.
Yes,
Di ba?
yes, yes.
Pang-away lang yun eh, di ba? So, you have to have
Uh-huh.
another reason.
Right.
Mm.
Do you
That,
make
that,
karambit? Do you make karambit?
I tried, but
Do you have an opinion on karambits as a fighting weapon? Because
Or as a
say
tool. Yeah.
the deadliest knife around is what people are saying. Do you have an
well,
opinion?
a kerambit is good if you use it for ambush.
Okay.
But you see, the length, the reach of using the karambit is only very short. So if you know what to do against it, then you can fight against it. But for ambush, obviously, it's deadly, as you can see all of the movies.
Yeah, I guess. No. So, Sixto, what do you think of the karambit? Is there since we're on that topic? Or
He
did
loves
you,
it.
do you plead the fifth?
Pass, pass, pass. I'll just
But see, a
pass.
lot of the
That's
people who
it.
have karambits, I always see them because prior to becoming a doctor, I was always the medic. And I remember we attended the seminar, me and Sixto. A lot of the karambit guys have wounds on their wrists, on their forearms from
Mm,
spinning the karambit. I mean, why wound yourself with your own weapon?
right. I have an opinion in it, and since I have, I don't know of anyone who will get offended, or if they do, I don't really care. I find that if there's something, a tool or a weapon that you need so much training for to be able to use proficiently, then I wouldn't recommend it, because like you said, all of them have these wounds on their arms. Why would you subject yourself to that when you have any other knife that will work just fine? And it's so hard to find. Like, if you're so specialized with the karambit, if you go get a kitchen knife, will you still be as proficient with that? Weapons of opportunity. So I think it's not as flexible. But I digress. Anyway,
Yeah.
Sixto, may tanong ka ba kay Alfred? Kay Arvin?
They are good. Actually, I learned something new today from Arvin. It's interesting. The way you develop your knives is organic. You design one, use it, check it. Then the next one you make, you modify. It's very Darwinian. It's very there's an evolution going on. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
quite interesting. So you don't force your concepts or designs. You check it
No,
out,
no, no,
and
no.
you actually check it out.
Yeah. Have to test it out.
That is what makes you different from other knife producers. So yeah, I find it very
Yeah,
interesting.
from what we've been gathering from you, it's also the people around you, the people you associate with. You're surrounded by people who really have specific needs for knives. Like, you have the preppers, you have the hikers, you have local clients, you have clients from abroad, you have the fighters. So it really melds perfectly into your philosophy of not having just one blade for everything. So, and I think that's part of your secret as a successful blade maker. So, yeah, galing.
Pero Arvin, last, I realized you love pinky catches.
Yeah, I do. And a lot of
Di
them
ba?
seem to get irritated with it, but
Explain what a pinky catch is.
a pinky catch is, you see it on the handle, there's this widening part of the handle at the end. So it catches your pinky when you swing it. Because previously, a lot of the blades I got from Laguna, they didn't have this pinky catch, only a very small pinky catch. So when you swing the blade fast, the blade flies out of your hand.
Mm.
And I found out also that a lot of the smiths only make very small pinky catch to save on the horn, more for
Okay.
economy. But me, I don't like, I mean, if I can afford those, might as well make it the best way you can make it, which is making a pinky catch.
And you make users blades after all, no? Not
Yeah, that's for users.
Hmm.
Another thing that I do is make like a sort of an S-shaped handle.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
See, yeah, so it's graceful.
Oh, that's a nice blade. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. This is a
What do
great
you call that?
parang.
Yeah.
This is the parang.
Mhm.
It's great for bamboo. This is a very good worker blade.
What is that tip for at the end? What does that do? There's a tip. At the end.
Well, number one for design. Also another is because I found out when you use it for utility, they wedge the blade in the ground. They wedge it in the ground, and then this will help to
Oh wow.
not make the blade slip.
Yeah, and I realize now, going back to Baste's question as to what makes Sese blades, it's really a user blade. That's the most impressive thing about this. You have so many innovations, and it's all based on experience. No?
Yeah, because actually use it.
Exactly. And it's not theoretical. When you go outdoors, you really go outdoors. You teach, you actually go there, you chop trees and everything. When it's a fighting knife, when it's a fighting blade, you've studied all these arts. You've studied Carlos Hermanos, you've studied Libre, you've studied combatives and all the other, and it all is reflected on your designs. They're very innovative, as opposed to other designers out there who just, they just imagine, what would be a good design, whatnot. And yeah, it's that's actually amazing, that you have all those resources.
Actually, it took a lot of time. Also, it wasn't an overnight thing. Okay, it took a long while.
Yeah.
I had to take a lot of trips to the Smith, test it out, and then have it redone.
Feedback
Yeah,
from
feedback.
users.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like to talk to the users to see how it performed, what you could have what could have been done
No.
better. So you can
Oh,
improve.
a good example is this knife. I specifically requested for this design, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had a design that I said, can you make something smaller? So then the next time I saw you, you already had this. So you actually listen to your customers, huh? Actually listen.
So, ikaw
That's
pa,
good.
pare,
That's good.
ikaw pa. Ikaw
good.
pa.
This is okay. This is one of my favorite Sese blades, but this is not really a functional knife. It's more of a fighting knife than anything else.
Well, you could actually use it in the kitchen if you want, but
Yeah.
the tip is sharpened, so you can actually use it for defense if you want.
For defense. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, for defense.
If it's okay, to ask, how much would that knife, for example, cost?
For instance, the fighter that like Sixto is using is like 2.5 because I did a lot to prepare that blade. I removed the forging scale.
Right.
I dipped it in zinc to prevent rust.
Right.
And then I spray
The
painted
handle,
the handle. Yeah.
I love the handle.
Right.
I love the handle.
And
It
then
still lasts.
I studied how to weave the handle.
I like the way that that it's so reasonably, despite the fact that it's so reasonably priced, that you're actually explaining why it's priced that way. 2.5 pare for such a quality knife is a steal. So but that's I guess that's your standard of quality. No, you don't really charge extremely high for
Look
quality.
at this. I have a trainer. I have a Sese trainer, and the handle's made of
Carabao horn.
I think horn. This is horn.
Carabao
yeah.
horn. Yeah, that's Carabao horn.
Arvin, if you noticed, if you might have deduced by now, I really like that knife that Sixto was. I'm going to order one. Okay.
Yeah. meron pa ako.
Okay, there you go.
That's
Actually,
a bestseller kasi.
There's
That's
a
actually the
bigger
best
version.
seller.
No, I like
There's a
that
bigger
size.
version
Yeah,
of
there's
this.
an earlier version
But
actually.
I like that size.
But this one I
that.
like. This one
I
I
like
like.
that size. I
This
like
is
that.
this is unofficially the Sese Carlos Hermanos blade, right?
I like that.
Unofficially.
I
Or
Actually,
let's
that
make it
size,
official.
that size actually was developed because I carry appendix.
Okay.
If it's too long, you can't bend over.
What is appendix? You show everyone what appendix is. What appendix carry?
I know appendix is when
Right at
when
the
you
middle.
wear it. Here,
Right
yeah,
at the middle.
yeah, here in the middle.
Appendix.
That's
So
appendix carry.
okay. So you
Because
just
it's
told
easy to
everyone,
reach both hands.
So you just told all the security guards in SM where to frisk you.
That's where they always. That's where they always frisk anyway.
Yeah. Well. It's been fun. You know.
Yeah,
So,
I know. It's been a blast.
yeah, we're glad
Been a
that
blast.
you graced us with
Yeah,
your
let's
presence.
let's do this again. Yeah,
Let's
let's do
do
this
this
again.
again.
Yeah,
Let's
let's do this again.
Let's do
I
this
actually
again.
listen to a lot of your podcasts because it trains the mind. Most people they just train the body, but it's the mind that's most important.
Basta, any reflections or any questions about our podcast for today?
No, just want to make sure that people get to know how to contact Arvin. So how do they do that?
Yeah, Arvin. Yes. How do you contact?
Well, just contact me on Facebook.
Okay.
On
Arvin
Facebook,
Sese.
yeah, they can contact me. Yeah, it's easy to contact
Do
me.
you
on
have a
Facebook.
Sese Blades page?
Yeah, there's a Sese Blades page.
So look
But
for
you
Sese.
gotta answer the questions there because there's questions there to eliminate the riffraff. If you can't answer questions, it means you can't be, you don't follow instructions.
So
He's
very selective. Okay, people very selective with his clients, which is a good thing.
Yeah, you just gotta answer the questions.
That's right.
You don't follow instructions.
That's good. Because you might be a troll or something. Diba?
Yeah. There's lots of trolls, Pucha. Lots of, selling houses and all that. Ang dami eh.
Exactly.
Insurance.
Yeah, daming ganun. So if you can't answer, you're a robot.
Yeah. I've inadvertently ordered so much Viagra already because of those. Sixto, any parting words for Dr. Arvin?
Arvin, thank you for the friendship, first of all. Okay, we've been through a lot. Thank you for the knowledge you've been sharing with me. You're my go-to man when it comes to not only with prepping but surviving in general. Thank you, and you put a lot of my martial arts in perspective. Okay, and lastly, I'd like to say that Sese blades are not to be displayed, but they are to be used. They're functional.
We tested that dun sa dun sa baboy. Na-testing na yan sa baboy.
Yeah, or organic
organic medium pala na-testing sa organic medium.
Yeah. Thank you. Ako personally, and I haven't really known you for a while. I've only known you for the past couple of years, Arvin. But I know you to be a very generous person with your knowledge and your blades as well. Because I've actually gotten a blade for free. I don't know if you remembered it, but
Okay.
but no, I won it in one of the Duelo tournaments. No.
Okay.
Night that I was looking for, but. I'd like to thank you for your generosity and your knowledge. Recently, I'm not going to mention what it is, but you gave me a book.
Yeah.
And it is a very enlightening, very informative book. I'm not going to share, because that's going to be our secret weapon. But that was a really nice gesture on your part, and I thank you. And thank you for guesting.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you for. Ang sa akin naman is we're all good friends, so we may as well share whatever we can share. Kasi,
Amen.
Of course.
I mean, tayo lang naman eh. We're the only guys who think this way.
Sige, I'll learn to share more in the future.
That sounds bad. That sounds bad.
Are you talking about Viagra?
Viagra, share my Viagra. I have like tons of Viagra in my house. Anyway, thank you, Arvin.
Okay, thank you. It's been an honor.
Okay, guys. After discussing after this interview with Arvin, I've learned a lot. It's very interesting the way he makes his wears, it's not design, it's not research, then let's just do it. It's actually using the implement, and every time he makes a new one, he has a modification. It's
Everything
very
is
Darwinian.
experience based. Everything is experience based, and not just purely theoretical, which is very impressive.
And to tell you the truth, he shares a lot. If,
He does.
if I were in his place, I won't even mention the metal. Anyway, well, that's Arvin. He's very he shares. He gives a lot. He gives a lot.
It's a.
Basta, you have any comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, all I could say is like, Arvin's always been the same guy. We've known him for decades, and again, his passion for his blade shows from,
That's the word, passion. Yes.
it's not just like
Yeah,
him just
passion.
looking for a business. The business came out of his passion for his hobby, which is good. And good for the consumers. That, it's not like a mass-produced, commercialized product that you could just buy from any, large retailer quickly. So every product. So that's good that he has still maintained that attitude.
Six, you've been talking about doing like some sort of project with Arvin. Like
Yeah.
what is it possible that we can do something together? Because it seems like his expertise, it crosses over, not just to survival but also to fighting, which was what you guys teach. So is there a project that we can probably come up with that will cater to both needs, survival and fighting? You think that's workable?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. As soon as this pandemic's over, once it's safe to go out, let's ask Arvin, and we can ask him to teach us some of his bushcraft skills. Then we can have a bushcraft training, then some weapons combatives training in the same place. So yeah, let's ask him. Let's ask him. I'd love to do that with him.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Just doing that. It doesn't even have to be a project. I mean, we can train in the woods. We can live. I think it should be a lot of fun, and very informative as well. So yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun. So thank you guys. See you again next time.
Okay, see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
You're around.
See you. Stay safe.